Hello and welcome to week 15 in the DukNilla show podcast. I'm solo today, as you can tell. Got a little picture of my co-host that does everything just sitting there. He took the week off on me for a good reason. He wasn't feeling too well, but his brother came in town from the Navy, and so amazing serving family that they are. He's taken the time to spend some time with them for the holidays. So we appreciate that. We thank you so much for your service, for both you and anybody else in your family. It's just been amazing to work with you, and the laughs and the times we've had, even off stream, off videos and whatnot. Just working together. We appreciate that. We're excited to see where this is going to lead with the DukNilla show podcast. We're looking at doing some gaming here this next year, and some other content just going to be coming out. So we thank you for being here. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to our YouTube. We will be moving everything over to YouTube and going live from there. This one was supposed to be live, but I didn't realize you had to have 24 hours before you can go live for your first time. I thought it already had it set up, but everything I didn't. So we're going with this right now. We're just doing recording, and then next time we should be live on YouTube. So we'll have that information out on all of our Discords. So we'll have those pop up as well. The DukNilla one, I'll put it on mine, Duck Gaming, and then Vanilla James as well. We'll have all that stuff in our YouTube channel as we do right now. So please go check them out. Let us know what you think about the week, and what all was happening. This was another crazy week of football. Week 15 was just up and down with so many things, and we're going to get into some of those today. But let's get right into it. We're going to talk about Thursday night's football game, final overtime game, since Kansas City beating the Chargers at Chargers 34-28. This was a good game, close game. I know James in the past he's been kind of pump the brakes. He says pump the brakes on the Mahomes, right? This team's dangerous. They're clicking at the right time, and I see them doing well. I'm a little worried about the Chargers, though. They have some inexperience at quarterback in this type of time of year. So we'll see what happens if they can step it up and win another couple games. This race is amazingly close within the AFC. So we'll see what happens with them and what we can do with that. But Saturday night game, we had another Saturday. We actually had two Saturday night games. One was postponed to Monday. That was the Browns and Raiders game was moved. So we only had one on Saturday, and that was the Patriots at the Colts, and they lost 17-27. I think on this one I actually I think we picked the Patriots to win this one. But the Colts, man, they're looking really good right now at the right time as well. Running back. I'm awful with names, guys. I think you guys all know that if you've seen any of our podcasts. And my sounds are just not on point. Who's our running back? Running back Jonathan Taylor. Another great running performance by him. 29 carries, 170 yards, and 1 touchdown. Carson Wentz had a decent game. He didn't really do much. Okay, let me take that back. He had a horrible game. He was 5 for 12 with 57 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But they didn't need him to, right? They didn't need him to be perfect because their running game was on point. Even Ashton Dolan had 2 carries, 39 yards. Carson Wentz carried it 8 times for 17 yards. So they had a good game. Their defense was really good in this game too. So next up is the Cowboys at the Giants, 21-6. I mean, this is a given. I think the Giants are just kind of putting it in for the year. They got a lot of injuries too going on. A lot of COVID this week. Lots of COVID, and we're going to get into a hot take on that later on. But there was a big thing for that. Dallas didn't look the greatest against a team that's just not really, performing well. So that was. Dallas is 10-4. They still have a great chance to be a good team, but I think we've talked about this before. I think Cowboys are on the cusp of getting the playoffs, but then maybe losing that first game. They need to get some things ironed out over there, I think, for sure. Next up was Texans at the Jaguars. Texans won that 30-16. We call this the turd bowl of all, right? Two low tier teams just going through a lot. Both these teams were kind of going through issues from the beginning of the year. Jaguars kind of escalated throughout the year, firing their head coach. A lot of issues with that. Getting rid of him, and then Texans just not starting off with their quarterback from the beginning of the year anyway have kind of hurt them from the beginning. So this wasn't, I watched a little bit of this game. It wasn't much to watch though. Titans were at Steelers. This was a big game for playoff potentials. So Steelers really needed this win, and they got it. They won 19-13. Titans just didn't look great in this game either. I think there was quite a few turnovers, if I remember. Please don't do this every time. Let me see if I can turn that sound off. Let's look at the stats here real quick. I'll pull them up. Yeah, Tannehill, he had 153 yards at 1 interception, so I mean, he didn't do great. Dante Foreman had 108 yards rushing. Ben didn't do much. Their rushing game was horrible, and so they really shouldn't have won this game. They only had 18 yards, was the most yards by Najee Harris. He didn't have a very good game. Couple turnovers that kind of really threw the game off a little bit. There's potential that Tennessee had a chance to win this game, and they should have won that. But they just couldn't get the job done. Next up was Jets at Dolphins. It was Dolphins won that 31-24. Dolphins are still on the cusp of playoff potential. They're 7-7. Jets are done. They're looking for the top 5 picks is where they're going to be at. Yeah. So Jets. I mean the Dolphins still have potential to get into playoffs. 7-7. Like I said, we'll look at the playoff race at the end here, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close in the AFC. Next up was the Lions hosting the Cardinals. And this was the trap game of all trap games, right? Lions win this 30-12. This was not good for the Lions. I don't think James was very happy with them winning because this took him out of the first pick overall with this win. So this doesn't look great for the Cardinals either. Murray was back. Game was sloppy, and they proved it. I don't know. I didn't get to watch this one, so I don't understand what happened here and why. But this was not good for them. Next up, the Bills took care of the Panthers 31-14 at home. Bills desperately needed this win. They were 7-6 coming into this game. Had lost, 3 or 4 out of their last 4 or 5, I think it was. They haven't been doing too hot lately, so they needed this win to keep in the playoff contention. They're still in that contention. Bengals were at the Broncos. Both these teams needed this win desperately for playoff potential, but they're both still in playoff potential. Now, Bengals are still in first place in the AFC North because we'll talk about some other teams that failed throughout that division. But the Broncos lost 7. They're 7-7. They're still in playoff potential. Teddy Bridgewater, major injury. I haven't seen any updates on him. I hope he's good. Been praying for him. That was a major injury. It was hard to watch. He's been through so much, so I just hope he's going to be okay. I know he's through concussion protocols from the last I heard on that. So Bengals, yes, they're first right now in the division at 8-6. I mean, that's not saying much. That whole division's but pretty rough this year. They started off strong, but then they just have been falling short. San Fran hosted the Falcons, and both these teams still playoff potential for the Falcons. San Fran won 31-13. 49ers are 8-6, and the Falcons are 6-8. So not close in score, but still potential for both these teams. This next game to the last, or no, there's a few more after that. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong. These are still Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night games. Packers were at the Ravens. This game without Lamar. Huntley played really good, and they still lost. They lost. Packers won 31-30. Excuse me. Both in the playoffs hunt. Of course, Packers are probably still number one in the rankings. Ravens are just kind of teetering. You know, they're in the hunt, but they're not really in yet. There's still potential. If they lose out and don't do well, there's potential of them not making the playoffs, which would be shocking, to be honest, with the way this team was at the beginning of the year. This was a shocking score. This game, Brady was not happy. Buccaneers lost at home against the Saints 9-0. We've talked about this. This is Buccaneers, our Saints are the kryptonite to Tom Brady. Tom Brady does not play well against them. James has brought this up multiple times, and this is exactly what happened. He was hot. One of those iPads, they're replacing that. He'd probably come out of his check, but they're replacing that because he was not having it. He was very upset. This game they couldn't get any momentum. They couldn't get anything going through that. Then we come to the first Monday night game. We had two Monday night games. Remember I was saying Saturday night was postponed and moved to the Monday, the Raiders and Browns game. With the COVID, we had 24 guys on the COVID list. We ended up getting 2 guys off of that, which, sure, it's a starting lineman and our safety. It was great, but we're using a third string quarterback that we just signed, and he had one practice. Now, granted, he played a good game for what he had to come in and do. This team was just, they had every momentum, every opportunity to win this game. Fourth quarter drive, all they needed is a first down for 3 yards and couldn't get it, and then lost with the field goal. They lost 16-14. Now, they're both, these teams, the Raiders are both, and the Browns are both 7-7. They both have potential still to make the playoffs. It's hard to say that, but they are. They have potential, and we'll see what happens. Browns play Christmas Day at Green Bay. That's a big game. We'll see who's going to be coming off that list. I don't know. We haven't seen any more updates. I know the coach, Stefanski's off of that. A couple other players may be off of it as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's one of those things we just don't know. Up in the air on that. Vikings played at Chicago. Vikings won that 17-9. I'm not surprised about this game. Bears are just having a rough year. Vikings are still in the hunt. They're still 7-7 right here. They're winning the games that they needed to right now, and we'll see how they go throughout this year. Tuesday, we had more games on Tuesday. 2 games. James's favorite team, Seattle Seahawks, right, are not going to be 500 this year. We already noticed that, right? Because they did lose to the Rams, 20-10. So the Rams had a good game. Cooper Kupp, this guy is on fire for catching. It's amazing what this kid is doing. I love watching somebody, smaller in stature, younger, a guy that does slot. He can do pretty much every position and is just doing really well. He had 136 yards, 9 receptions on 13 targets and 2 touchdowns. Odell, where's he at? Oh, he had 1 reception for 7 yards on 3 targets. I don't think he's really doing a whole lot there. I knew he wouldn't. We've talked about this. He didn't do much in Cleveland. The biggest games for him were in the Giants, and I think that's the biggest we're going to see out of him. So this game was really good for the Rams to keep them in the hunt for the first place in that area too. This is the one game that James and I had what do we call it? I can't remember what we called it. We put an asterisk on this game. The Washington at the Eagles. And the reason why is he was picking Washington to win this game. But if Gardner Minshew started, then he would go with the Eagles. Well, Gardner Minshew didn't play. I don't think he played at all. I'm pretty sure I saw Hurts. Let me double check my stats here and see. Yes, Jalen Hurts played. He was 20 for 26, 296 yards, a touchdown, and interception. He had a pretty good game. He had 8 rushes, 38 carries. I would have loved to see Gardner Minshew be playing in this game, but he didn't. So James lost that one because I picked the Eagles to win, even if there was no Minshew, right? So the Eagles win that game 27-17. I don't know what this does with Washington and playoff hunt. We'll look at that. This does help the Eagles for sure. So we'll see. Let's actually look at playoff picture right now. So we'll look at the AFC first. So Chiefs are number 1 in the AFC right now at 10-4. Patriots are number 2 at 9-5. Then we have the Titans still at 9-5. The Bengals are 4 at 8-6. And then the 3 that we have that are kind of in the bubble area, I mean, they're in the playoffs, but they're kind of on the cusp, let's say, are the Colts, Chargers, and Bills at 8-6. So they're all second in all their divisions. And then on the bubble, we still have the Ravens are on the bubble because they're outside looking in. Are the Ravens at 8-6. The Steelers are number 9 at 7-6-1. The Raiders at 7-7 at 10. Dolphins are next. Then the Browns. The Browns dropped. So the Browns had a potential to be number 4 if they won that game, taking over the Bengals, first place in AFC North, or number 12 and they lost, and that's where they're at. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to, 11, 12, and 13 are probably out of it, unless they can dominate all their wins and then get some help from the teams below not doing well. In the NFC North, we have the first team to clinch the division are the Packers. So they clinched already, so they're already ready to go. In the hunt for those rest are, we have the Cowboys at 10-4, Buccaneers at 10-4, Arizona at 10-4, Rams at 10-4, 49ers 8-6, and then we have the Vikings are in the playoffs right now at 7-7. We're talking about that, how that win was pretty big for them. The next game they play is the Rams. So they play LA next, which is big for both these teams, for positional wise for the Rams, but also for Vikings staying in the playoff hunt. On the bubble, we have the Eagles. The Saints are still on the bubble. Eagles are playing the Giants, so potential to win that game. Saints are playing the Dolphins. That's going to be a good game for them and be tough because the Dolphins are still in the hunt as well. So they're both 7-7 are going into that game. Washington is still in the hunt at 6-8. They play the Cowboys though, so that's gonna be a tough game for them. Falcons are 6-8 playing the Lions. Let me just say, I'm assuming some of the Lions, and I think a few of them were already had on a COVID list. I think they're gonna play hard, but I think the Falcons are gonna win that game because I don't think the Lions want to win. They're not throwing a game, but I just don't think they want to win. Carolina's at 12-5-9. Seahawks are 5-9. They're still staying in the bubble with Seahawks, Giants, and Carolina. I'm pretty sure all 3 of those are out of the contention. They're not going to be in there at all. So yeah, that's our picks for Week 15. And hold on, what is going on? Here we go. That was our Week 15 recap. So let's go into our power rankings that we like to talk about and see what happens. We have Jacksonville at 32. They stayed there. The Jets moved back 2 spots to 31. The Giants moved back 3 spots to 30. Texans moved up 2 to 29. Carolina stayed at 28. Detroit Lions moved up 3 to 27 after their win, which I'm sure they didn't want that win. The Bears stayed at 26. Falcons moved back 1 to 25. Seahawks moved back 4 to 24. Denver moved to 23, back 1. Washington moved back 4 to 22. The Las Vegas Raiders moved up 4 to 21. So they were pretty far back there with that win, and they're still in the playoff hunt. So New Orleans Saints are in playoff hunt still at 7-7. They moved up to 20 from 3 spots back. Eagles stayed at 19. Even with their win, they stayed at 19. Pittsburgh moved up 3 spots to 18. The Browns moved back 2 from 17. I think that was the biggest because they didn't have a lot of starters. They were missing 2 starting offensive linemen, 2 on the defensive line. Secondary was just been decimated throughout the year with injuries and issues as well. Third string quarterback, no head coach. The last time we had no head coach playing was last year in the playoffs, and we won that game. But we had all of our players then too, so it was a little bit different scenario. Baltimore stayed at 16. Minnesota Vikings moved up to 15. I like that move from 2. They got that win. These teams resilient. They're playing well. Tennessee Titans, they're 9-5. They moved back from 12 to 14. The Dolphins moved up from 14 to 13. They're 7-7. Cincinnati Bengals are 8-6. They moved up to 12 from one behind. San Fran stayed at 11. Let's look at the top 10 here. Top 10. Los Angeles Chargers moved back from 9 to 10. I like that move. They had a loss. They're 8-6. They're not doing too hot right now. Buffalo moved up, so they kind of flip-flopped positions. Buffalo is ranked 9. Dallas moved back 1 to rank 8. New England Patriots moved from 5 to 7, so they got moved back 2. That was a big loss to them for the Colts. Let's see. Colts, they have the Colts in front of them at 8-6. Ranked number 2, ranked 6, moved up from 8 to 6. I think it's because you're seeing a lot of really good run from Jonathan Taylor. I think that's really the only reason. If he wasn't, if he was a little bit low subpar, and he's an MVP candidate right now. He is busting at the seams at rushing, and it's been really good for that team because, like I said before, and we've seen this in Philadelphia, where if Carson Wentz doesn't have good running, he's not the greatest of all quarterbacks. It's a little bit harder for him to get that ball out. So for any teams, if they're putting pressure on their running back, is what they need to be doing, not letting Jonathan Taylor run all over you. 170-yard game, this last one. Cardinals moved back from 3 to 5 with that loss to Detroit. I'm surprised they moved back a little further than that, to be honest with you. That was a pretty, they should have never lost that game. The Rams moved up from 6 to 4. So the top 5, we got Cardinals, then the Rams, and then Buccaneers moved back from 2 to 3. They're number 3. We got Kansas City moving up from 4 to 2 with their win. This team is surging right now. Mahomes isn't doing the greatest. He's not having a great year. But the team around him, the players around him are doing pretty decent, doing well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens to this team. I'm excited to see what Kansas City can do this year. And then we have Green Bay still at number 1, which I don't think that's going to change. Unless the Browns just raffle stomp them on Christmas Day. I don't see that happening. Would I love to see it happen? Sure, but I like the Packers too. So I'm cheering for both these teams. I think it's going to be, hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully we have all of our players back and we're not dealing with all this COVID stuff this week. But I'm guessing we will be because we haven't heard much yet. Okay, let's get into our picks. Let's get into our picks for this week. Let me get Vanilla James's picks up here. Okay. All right. So week 1, or not week 1, excuse me. First picks. I'm going to get a piece of paper here because I want to write down what our differences are so that we have those ready. And then I could send it to them. Because right now, let's go over last week's, right? So last week's we had 5 different picks that we had. The Chargers are versus KC. He had Chargers, I had KC, so I won. I was only down 1. I was down 1 right then. Plus. Okay, I wrote that down wrong. So let's look here. I picked KC. He had the Chargers. I won that. I picked Dallas. He had the Giants. Dallas won. I won that. So we were even because he's only 2 ahead of me. So right there we were tied. Then the Jags lost to the Texans, so I lost that. He was up 1. Titans lost to the Steelers, so he's back up 2. And then with our pick of the Eagles in Washington, I'm giving him the Washington because Minshew did not start. I had the Eagles. So I'm only down one. I'm only down one, baby. Came up from 6 or 7 down to 1. We're getting it close. We're getting it close. So let's see what we have for this week. So our first pick is San Fran at Tennessee. Tennessee hasn't been playing great lately. And I'm liking what San Fran. I'm going with San Fran on this one. Let's see what James picked. James picked the Titans. Oh, right off the bat. San Fran Titans. Okay, there's our first pick. Next one is the Browns at Green Bay. We're still up in the air. We didn't play great against a team that we should have beat with these issues going on, and we couldn't do that. We still have a lot of people out. So I'm going to go with Green Bay on this one. I'm picking against my Brownies. I want them to win. If I lose it, so be it. But I want them to win. What did James pick on this one? He picked the Packers, so we're even on that one. Colts at Arizona. Arizona's going to be pissed. Let me tell you, they are not happy they lost that game. I think you're going to see Arizona going to win this game, and they're just going to completely dominate the Colts running and just shut down the running on this game. What do you have? He had the Cardinals as well. The Lions have nothing to if they win this game, it's devastating more for them, right? So we're going to go with the Falcons on this one. Falcons need this one for playoff potential. They're kind of in the middle right now. If they keep winning, they have potential to keep growing and being a strong team. Even after some of the injuries and some of the, I think isn't it Calvin Ridley that was on that team that left for health reasons, and hopefully he's doing okay. We want people to be, mental health is huge. I work with kids and individuals throughout the day in my day-to-day job. That mental health is a major struggle. So we want people to be doing well and feeling well. So hopefully he's getting the help he needs and deserves for that. I had the Falcons. He picked the Falcons as well. So we're going to go with that. This is a big game. This is a huge playoff potential game right here between Baltimore and the Bengals. Now we've beat Baltimore and we've lost to them. We've beat the Bengals and we still play them. So, who do I want to win this game? I don't know. I'm going to go with the Bengals at home, as much as I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going by the pick of who I think is going to win. And who did he have for that? He had the Bengals as well. So we're tied on that still. We only got one difference right now out of 5 picks. Let's go into the next one. LA is playing at Vikings. This is a big game for both these teams. LA's potential being number 1 within the NFC, and the Vikings making a playoff stance. I'm going to go with the Vikings on this one because I think they're a home team and they're a strong team at home. I'm going to go with them. He picked the Rams. I'm not surprised by that. So there's 2 differences right there. So we'll go with that. Let me do one thing here real quick. I want to make sure I'm on track with my picks before I do something stupid. Yeah. Okay. All right. Bills and the Patriots. This is a home game for the Patriots. Patriots have been playing really well. They had a really rough game last one. I don't think you're going to see 2 in a row by this team. So I'm going to go with the Patriots on this one. What did he have? He had Patriots as well, so we're good to go on that. Next game up is our Jags versus the Jets. It's like, who do we pick on this? I'm going to go with the home team. I think both teams are just riddled with rough year issues on both of these teams. I think I don't know who's in quarterback. Zach Wilson still in QB. I'm gonna go Jets with the home team. He had the Jaguars. This is just kind of a up in the air type of pick. You know what I mean? Next up is the Giants and the Eagles. I'm going Eagles. Eagles are home. They're heavy favorite on this game, and James had the same pick as well here. So Tampa Bay at Carolina. You're not going to see Tampa Bay get skunked again, and that was the first time that's ever happened to Brady. So you're going to see Tom Brady just going to go off on this game. I got them winning that. He's got the Bucks as well. Texans are hosting the Chargers. Chargers have way more on the line. I think you're going to see them get... Man, I don't know. We'll go Chargers. What did he have? He had Chargers as well. So next up is Chicago is going out to Seattle. Seattle's at home. Seattle's a pretty big favorite in this game too. I'm gonna pick Seattle as well. I think he picked Seattle too. Yeah. Next up is Pittsburgh at KC. Pittsburgh and KC. This is a big game for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh absolutely needs this win for any potential playoff chance. I don't see them getting it. They've been playing mediocre football all year. Kansas City is going to just throttle them in this game. He picked... Oh, that's a spoiler alert right there. He picked... Wow. And I told you, text me this. But I did not look at it till right now. Wow. He went Steelers at KC. He's against the Mahomes. He's against you, Mahomes. Come on. Let's step it up, KC. Let's show him. Let's show him. Next up is Denver at Las Vegas Raiders. This is a home game for the Raiders. We're a little uncertain on quarterback. And with the consistency of the Raiders right now, I got to go with them. And so did Vanilla James. So we're on the same as that. Washington is going to Cowboys. This is Cowboys. This is a big game for Washington as well. I'm going with the home team on Dallas on this, and so is James. And then we have the Saints are home against the Dolphins. I'm going Saints on this one. I think, yeah, he picked the Saints, but the fans have to show up. Right? There it is. The fans have to show up. Let's go. You guys got to help them through this. You know, they had a good game last game. They won it. You got a quarterback that doesn't pass as much. He's more of a run option type of quarterback. So you gotta help them through this because they're gonna need it. It's gonna be a tough home game because Dolphins are gonna come at it hard. They need this game. Both of you guys need this game for any playoff potential. So again, those are our picks.
Contender is most dangerous in your opinion.
Oh man.
We just seen Jonathan Taylor. Yes, we did. It's the Colts, man.
Where is it at?
We all see Jonathan Taylor, but for me,
why does it do that to me? Anyway, I'm not gonna edit that out. Anyway, so my hot take for this week is COVID. Right? We're talking COVID. We're having issues. Did I have this? I didn't have it up there, did I? Yeah, okay. COVID has been rampant in the NFL. There's almost 1,700 players in the NFL out of the 32 teams, and that's active roster. That's not counting practice squad or coaches or anything like that. We had almost 225 people on the COVID list right now. So we're talking about almost 8% of the active roster is on COVID. Now there's some states or some teams doing better than others. If you would have saw the conference from the Bengals about talking about how there's just nothing to do there. And so that's why there's only 4 or 5 people on their COVID protocol. What we've seen this issue is the reason why we're bringing it up and we're talking about it, because it's really hurting a lot of the NFL teams. It's hurting their play. It's hurting potential playoffs. And you've heard me say in the past, that NFL is starting to become scripted, becoming WWE type of mentality. And I still believe that a little bit. I'm not going to push that. It's just, I'm probably the only one that believes that. But I feel that there's some type of something going on, whether it's better for money, for certain teams to be in and certain teams not to be. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, I'm hoping everybody is feeling better. I'm not a huge believer in this COVID-19. I really am not. I'm not going to push my agenda, my thoughts on anybody. I want the best and well wishes for every individual out there. And so I hope all these people are feeling better, are doing better, because I've had a close friend that's had COVID, pneumonia, and didn't make it. So I get it. I understand that it's severe. And it's hard to see. But what I pray for is these people to be really working hard at getting this right. We're seeing a lot of inconsistencies in the testing and changes of the testing, and whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. There's a lot of differences and there's a lot of discrimination in those things, I believe. So let's be safe. Let's have a great holiday. Stay strong out there. Have a great week. Merry Christmas. We thank you so much for being here and supporting us. Whether it's you're watching for a little bit or watching the whole time, hanging out, give us a thumbs up. Say something in the comments, whatever you like to do. Let us know what your favorite team is. And maybe there's other stuff that you would like to see us do, whether it's other types of sports. We're looking at getting into some gaming podcasts this next year. And we'll see how long with the football is going to go. If we're going to do it much after the season's over or not, it just kind of depends on what everybody wants to see. So we appreciate, again, you being here. Stay safe out there. And we'll see you next time. Thanks again, and we'll see you.